What would you do if a defenseless baby horse found itself surrounded by a pack of hungry wolves? Its survival seems impossible, but what happens next will astonish you. Join us as we unravel a story of danger, courage, and the most unexpected hero. The forest stretched endlessly under the dimming glow of a setting sun. The tall pines swayed gently in the evening breeze, casting long shadows on the ground. From the depths of the wilderness, a trembling cry echoed, a sound that pierced the silence and carried an air of desperation. At the edge of a small clearing, a young foal no more than a few weeks old stood alone. Its chestnut coat shimmered softly in the golden light, marred only by streaks of dirt from its wanderings. A stark white blaze ran down its face, emphasizing its wide, frightened eyes that darted nervously, scanning its surroundings. This foal, separated from its herd after a sudden thunderstorm the night before, had wandered aimlessly through the forest. Each small step seemed heavier than the last, its frail legs trembling with exhaustion. Solitude pressed down on it like the dark clouds still lingering above. Unbeknownst to the foal, danger was closing in. In the shadows of the tall trees, yellow eyes gleamed. A pack of wolves, lean and ravenous, had caught the scent of vulnerability. Their leader, a large gray wolf with a scar etched across his muzzle, emitted a low, guttural growl, signaling his pack to move. The wolves, coordinated and silent, began to encircle the clearing, their movements as calculated as they were deadly. The foal froze. Its small ears twitched, catching the faint rustle of leaves. Its nostrils flared, detecting an unfamiliar scent, sharp, musky, and unmistakably predatory. A low growl broke the stillness, sending a shiver down the foal's fragile spine. In a last-ditch effort to escape, it tried to run, but its weak legs gave way, causing it to stumble to the ground. From the edge of the forest, an imposing figure observed the scene. Midnight, a towering black stallion, stood motionless. His muscular frame, accentuated by his glossy, jet-black coat, exuded strength and authority. Known to the locals as the guardian of the forest's edge, Midnight had earned his reputation by fending off countless threats. His sharp eyes locked onto the wolves, now closing in on the defenseless foal. Midnight's ears flattened against his head as he stomped his hoof powerfully, the sound reverberating through the clearing like a warning drumbeat. The wolves, undeterred by his display, focused their attention on the trembling foal. With a fierce neigh that echoed through the trees, Midnight sprang into action. His hooves thundered against the forest floor as he charged, the ground trembling beneath his powerful strides. The pack leader, poised to lunge at the foal, turned his scarred face toward the approaching stallion. Midnight's sheer size and speed were a sight to behold, his glossy mane flowing like a dark river in motion. The pack hesitated, their instincts wavering between hunger and fear. The gray wolf snarled, standing his ground as Midnight closed the distance. With a defiant roar, the stallion reared up on his hind legs, his powerful hooves slicing through the air. As he came crashing down, the ground shook with the force of his landing. The wolves scattered, retreating momentarily but not abandoning their prey. Midnight stood tall, his body a shield between the foal and the predators. The foal, trembling but unharmed, lay behind him, its small form barely visible against the towering stallion. Midnight let out another thunderous neigh, daring the wolves to come closer. The pack regrouped, their hunger overpowering their hesitation. The gray wolf crouched low, preparing to attack once more, his piercing yellow eyes fixed on the stallion. As the tension reached its peak, a rustling sound from the forest broke the stalemate. Midnight's sharp ears twitched, catching the faint sound of movement. From the underbrush emerged a smaller figure, swift and deliberate. Ember, a rogue coyote with a coat shimmering in hues of gold and gray, stepped into the clearing. Midnight recognized her immediately. Though coyotes were typically scavengers, Ember had carved a reputation for herself as a loner who respected the herd's territory. Ember let out a piercing yip, her sharp voice cutting through the growls and snarls. The wolves turned their attention to her, momentarily distracted by the new arrival. Midnight didn't move, his instincts telling him to trust Ember's presence. The gray wolf, perceiving her as a competitor, snarled and lunged. Ember darted aside with calculated agility, leading the wolf away from the foal. Taking advantage of the distraction, Midnight nudged the foal, urging it to stand. Despite its exhaustion, the foal responded to the stallion's encouragement, its trembling legs pushing it upright. Midnight positioned himself protectively, his massive frame shielding the foal as Ember continued her daring maneuvers. The wolves, now divided between their two adversaries, hesitated. Ember's sharp yips and quick movements sowed confusion among them, creating the perfect opportunity for Midnight to lead the foal to safety. The black stallion guided the foal toward a denser part of the forest, his steady nudges encouraging it to keep moving. The pack leader growled in frustration, his scarred muzzle wrinkling as he attempted to regroup his pack. But Ember's relentless tactics kept the wolves disoriented, her small frame darting between them with surprising speed. The forest echoed with the sounds of the standoff / 2014, the wolves' growls, Ember's sharp cries, and Midnight's protective neighs. Midnight continued to guide the foal through the dense forest, his protective instincts unwavering. The foal stumbled often, its frail legs faltering under the strain of the harrowing ordeal. Each time it faltered, Midnight nudged it forward with a gentle but firm encouragement, as if to say, "Keep going. You're not alone." Ember, meanwhile, remained a blur of motion, her piercing yips slicing through the air. She darted between the wolves, snapping at their heels and drawing their attention away from the foal and Midnight. Her agility and determination disrupted the pack's coordination, leaving the wolves uncertain and agitated. As Midnight and the foal approached a narrow stream cutting through the forest, the stallion paused. The clear water shimmered under the faint moonlight, inviting them to drink. Midnight lowered his head, taking a deep, refreshing sip before gesturing to the foal with a soft nicker. Hesitant at first, the foal leaned down to drink, its body trembling less as the cool water provided a momentary reprieve. The respite was short-lived. Midnight's sharp ears caught the sound of rustling leaves, and his body tensed. From the shadows, the wolves reappeared, their yellow eyes glinting with a dangerous hunger. Ember emerged from the brush, panting but defiant. Her golden coat was streaked with dirt, but her posture remained poised. Midnight gave a low snort, signaling her to hold her ground. The wolves hesitated, their leader growling in frustration as the coyote and the stallion stood between them and their prey. But the pack's hunger drove them forward, inching closer with every passing second. Midnight stomped his hoof, his deep neigh resonating through the clearing, a warning that the wolves were not to cross. Just as the tension reached its breaking point, the sound of distant hoofbeats echoed through the forest. Midnight's herd, alerted by the commotion, appeared like a cavalry charge. Led by a powerful mare, the group of horses surged into the clearing, their presence overwhelming the pack of predators. The wolves froze, their predatory instincts battling against the realization that they were outnumbered. Midnight's herd moved with precision, forming a protective circle around the foal and the stallion. The lead mare stood shoulder to shoulder with Midnight, her sharp eyes daring the wolves to make their move. Outmatched and outmaneuvered, the wolves began to retreat. The pack leader let out a frustrated growl before slinking back into the shadows, followed by the rest of his pack. Their howls faded into the distance, leaving the forest in a tense but triumphant silence. The foal, still trembling but safe, leaned against Midnight, its small body seeking comfort in his strength. Ember stood a few feet away, her amber eyes meeting Midnight's. A silent acknowledgement passed between them, a shared understanding of the alliance they had forged. As the herd regrouped, Ember stepped back into the shadows, her role in the encounter fulfilled. Midnight watched her go, his instincts telling him that their paths would cross again. For now, the immediate danger had passed, and the focus turned to ensuring the foal's survival. As the herd settled into a protective formation, the foal clung to Midnight's side, its frail body trembling less with each passing moment. The once scattered horses moved in unison, their presence a shield against lingering threats. Midnight stood tall at the center of the group, his keen eyes scanning the tree line for any sign of danger. The wolves had retreated, but their howls still echoed faintly in the distance, a chilling reminder of the danger they had narrowly escaped. Ember lingered at the edge of the clearing, her golden coat dappled by the moonlight filtering through the branches. She watched the herd with a cautious but curious gaze. Despite her usual solitary nature, she had played a vital role in ensuring the foal's safety. Midnight's sharp eyes met hers, and though no words passed between them, his gaze conveyed a silent acknowledgement of gratitude. The herd began to move again, their steps deliberate as they navigated the uneven terrain. Midnight led the way, his powerful strides guiding them toward the open plains. The foal, still shaky on its legs, stumbled often but refused to lag behind. Each time it faltered, one of the older mares nudged it forward with gentle encouragement, their maternal instincts reinforcing the herd's collective determination. The forest began to thin, the dense trees giving way to patches of open ground bathed in the soft glow of dawn. The sight of the plains brought a sense of relief to the herd, their instincts urging them toward the safety of familiar territory. Midnight's pace quickened, his sharp ears attuned to every sound around them. Suddenly, the calm was interrupted by the faint sound of approaching hoofbeats. Midnight's ears pricked forward, his body tensing as he scanned the horizon. Emerging from the shimmering heat of the plains were riders on horseback, their figures growing clearer with each passing moment. The sight sent a ripple of unease through the herd. The lead rider, a burly man with a weathered face and a wide-brimmed hat, pointed directly at Midnight. "That black stallion," he said, his voice carrying across the plains. "And the foal. Both will fetch a good price." Midnight's instincts flared. These were no ordinary travelers. They were wranglers, men who captured wild horses for sale or labor. Their presence was an immediate threat, and Midnight's sharp neigh echoed like a battle cry. The herd responded, clustering together as the riders fanned out, their lassos ready to strike. The first rider swung his lasso, aiming for one of the mares. But Midnight was quicker. He charged forward, intercepting the rope mid-air with a powerful strike of his hooves. The force sent the rider's horse reeling, and the man cursed loudly as he struggled to regain control. The foal, frightened by the chaos, stumbled and fell behind the group. Seeing this, Ember darted into action. Her small, agile frame wove through the commotion with astonishing speed. She positioned herself between the foal and the nearest rider, her sharp yips and aggressive lunges unsettling the man's horse. The rider hesitated, startled by the unexpected intervention. Meanwhile, Midnight and the lead mare led a coordinated defense. Their powerful charges and sharp kicks kept the riders at bay, forcing them to retreat momentarily. The herd moved as one, their strength and unity a formidable force against the wranglers' attempts. Realizing they were outmaneuvered, the lead rider shouted, "Fall back!" The wranglers retreated, their horses kicking up clouds of dust as they galloped away. Midnight watched them disappear over the horizon, his body still tense and ready for another fight. As the dust settled, the foal leaned against Midnight, its small body trembling with exhaustion. Ember, panting but triumphant, stood nearby, her golden coat streaked with dirt but her posture proud. Midnight turned to her, his sharp eyes softening in a silent gesture of gratitude. Ember let out a quiet whine, her tail wagging slightly before she retreated to the edge of the plains. Under the pale light of dawn, the herd gathered near a quiet glade at the edge of the plains. The foal rested beside Midnight, its small body leaning against his powerful frame. Though still weak, it appeared more at ease, its breathing steady and calm. The mares surrounded the foal in a protective circle, their sharp eyes scanning the horizon for any lingering threats. Ember lingered at a distance, her golden fur blending with the tall grasses. She watched the herd with an air of detachment, yet her ears twitched at every sound, her body poised to act should danger arise again. Though a rogue by nature, she had become an unexpected guardian, her loyalty to Midnight and the herd forged through their shared struggles. As the morning sun climbed higher, Midnight rose and signaled the herd to move. The foal struggled to its feet, its legs trembling but determined. The herd fell into formation, Midnight leading the way back to their familiar grazing grounds. Ember followed from a distance, her movements stealthy and deliberate. The journey home was not without its challenges. The storm that had scattered the herd had left the terrain unpredictable, with fallen branches and flooded paths blocking their way. Midnight's sharp instincts guided them, his unerring sense of direction ensuring their progress remained steady. At midday, the herd paused by a small stream. The water sparkled under the sunlight, offering a much-needed reprieve. The foal wobbled toward the edge and drank deeply, its tiny frame regaining a hint of strength. Midnight stood watch, his sharp eyes scanning the surrounding area for potential dangers. From the opposite bank, Ember appeared, her golden coat shimmering as she approached. The foal, now more curious than fearful, let out a tentative whinny. Ember responded with a soft yip, her posture relaxed and non-threatening. Slowly, the foal stepped closer, its wide eyes filled with cautious curiosity. Midnight watched the interaction closely, his instincts balanced between caution and trust. The foal sniffed at Ember, its fear replaced by a growing confidence. Ember, in turn, lowered her head, her demeanor gentle and patient. It was a moment of connection, a bond forming between two unlikely companions. As the herd resumed their journey, Ember trotted alongside them, her presence becoming an accepted part of their dynamic. The older mares, initially wary of the coyote, now seemed to regard her with a cautious respect. Ember's keen senses and quick reflexes had proven invaluable, and her continued loyalty was undeniable. The forest gradually gave way to the open plains, the vast expanse of grassland stretching endlessly under the azure sky. The sight of their familiar grazing grounds brought a sense of relief to the herd. Midnight quickened his pace, leading the group toward the heart of the plains. The foal, now steadier on its legs, began to trot beside the other young horses. Its playful energy was a testament to its resilience, a symbol of the herd's determination to protect and nurture one of their own. Midnight watched the foal with pride, his protective instincts easing as he saw the young horse thrive. As night fell, the herd settled in a wide meadow under a canopy of stars. Midnight stood watch, his powerful silhouette framed against the moonlit sky. Ember rested nearby, her ears twitching at every sound, her vigilant presence a quiet reassurance. The foal lay nestled against Midnight, its soft breaths a sign of safety and contentment. The trials they had faced had forged unbreakable bonds among the herd and their unlikely ally. Midnight's leadership, tempered by courage and wisdom, had united them in the face of adversity. Ember's selflessness and bravery had earned her a place among them, proving that even the most unexpected alliances could lead to extraordinary outcomes. The first light of dawn spilled over the plains, painting the tall grasses in hues of gold and orange. The herd stirred slowly, their forms moving like shadows against the glowing horizon. Midnight stood at the edge of the group, his sharp eyes scanning the vast expanse of land before them. The events of the past few days lingered in his mind, the storm, the wolves, the wranglers, and the unexpected bond with Ember. Each trial had tested their strength, but together they had endured. The foal, now noticeably stronger, frolicked beside one of the mares. Its energy, once drained by exhaustion and fear, had returned, a testament to the herd's care and protection. The older mares watched over it with gentle vigilance, their maternal instincts ensuring its continued safety. Midnight observed the scene with quiet pride, his heart swelling with a sense of fulfillment. Ember, ever watchful, lingered near the edge of the meadow. Her golden coat blended seamlessly with the tall grass, but her presence was unmistakable. She had chosen to stay close, a guardian in the shadows. Though she remained an outsider, her bond with the herd had deepened. Midnight met her gaze briefly, a silent acknowledgment of their shared purpose. As the sun climbed higher, the herd began to move. Midnight led them toward a nearby stream, where the cool water shimmered under the morning light. The foal trotted eagerly at the front, its once faltering steps now confident and steady. The herd's collective energy had shifted. They were no longer merely surviving but thriving. As they drank from the stream, the sound of distant hoofbeats reached Midnight's ears. His body tensed, his sharp instincts honing in on the approaching noise. Emerging from the far side of the plains was a group of wild mustangs, their manes flowing in the wind as they galloped toward Midnight's herd. At their head was a large gray stallion, his powerful frame and commanding presence a reflection of Midnight's own. The wild horses slowed as they neared, their movements cautious yet deliberate. The gray stallion lowered his head slightly in a gesture of alliance, his sharp eyes meeting Midnight's. Midnight held his ground, his stance firm yet open. The wild mustangs began to integrate with the herd, their presence initially met with wariness but gradually accepted. The foal, unafraid and curious, approached one of the wild mares. It let out a soft whinny, a tentative greeting. The mare responded with a gentle nuzzle, her maternal instincts recognizing the foal's innocence. Ember watched the scene unfold from a distance, her sharp eyes taking in the growing unity between the two groups. She let out a satisfied yip before retreating further into the shadows of the grassland. Her role as an ally was not bound by proximity. She would remain close enough to protect but distant enough to preserve her independence. The combined herd moved as one, their numbers providing strength and security. Midnight and the gray stallion led side by side, their alliance a powerful force against any potential threats. The foal, once fragile and uncertain, grew stronger with each passing day. Its small frame filled out as it thrived under the protection of the united herd. One evening, as the stars filled the sky, the herd rested in a wide, open meadow. The foal lay nestled against Midnight, its soft breaths a sign of contentment and safety. Ember sat nearby, her golden coat blending with the grass, her presence a quiet reminder of the unlikely friendships that had formed. Midnight looked out over the herd, his heart filled with pride and a sense of fulfillment. They had faced danger, endured hardship, and emerged stronger together. The herd's bond grew stronger with each passing day, their numbers and unity transforming the plains into a sanctuary. Midnight's leadership and the gray stallion's strength created a balance of wisdom and power, inspiring loyalty and trust among the horses. The foal, now thriving under their watchful eyes, symbolized the resilience of their collective spirit. As the days turned to weeks, the plains seemed to embrace the new harmony. The wild Mustangs and Midnight's herd moved as one, their combined presence a testament to the power of unity. Ember's presence remained a constant, her golden silhouette often seen at the edges of the group. Though she never fully joined the herd, her vigilance never wavered. She had found a purpose in protecting them, her loyalty unspoken but unwavering. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, the foal stood atop a small hill. Its once fragile frame now carried the strength of youth and promise. Midnight watched from a distance, his heart swelling with pride as he saw how far the foal had come. The night was calm, the stars casting a gentle glow over the plains. Midnight stood watch as the herd rested, his sharp eyes scanning the horizon. The trials they had faced were a reminder of the unpredictability of their world, but they had emerged stronger. Midnight's resolve deepened, knowing that his role as protector extended beyond his herd. It was a legacy he was building. The next morning, the peace of the plains was interrupted by the sound of distant hoofbeats. Midnight's ears pricked forward, his muscles tensing as he prepared for another potential threat. From the direction of the rocky outcrops came a group of wranglers, their movements deliberate and predatory. Midnight's sharp neigh alerted the herd, and they quickly moved into formation. The foal, now more confident but still vulnerable, stayed close to Midnight's side. The wranglers spread out, their lassos ready to strike. Midnight's heart pounded as he positioned himself between the herd and the advancing riders. Suddenly, a familiar figure darted across the grass. Ember, her small frame moving with astonishing speed, intercepted the lead rider. Her sharp yips and lunges startled the horses, causing chaos among the wranglers' ranks. Midnight seized the opportunity, leading the herd in a coordinated charge that sent the wranglers retreating into the distance. As the dust settled, Midnight turned to Ember. Their eyes met, and in that moment, words were unnecessary. Ember had proven time and again that alliances could form in the most unlikely of circumstances. She let out a soft yip, her tail wagging slightly before disappearing into the shadows of the plains. Midnight watched her go, knowing that her presence had been instrumental in their survival. The herd resumed their peaceful rhythm, grazing under the warm sun. The foal, now a symbol of hope and perseverance, trotted confidently among the horses, its energy contagious. Midnight stood on a small rise, his silhouette framed by the vast expanse of the plains. He had protected his own, forged bonds with the wild Mustangs, and found an ally in Ember. As the sun set, casting the plains in a golden glow, Midnight let out a triumphant neigh that echoed across the land. It was a call of unity, resilience, and hope, a legacy that would endure for generations to come. This story reminds us that courage, unity, and unexpected friendships can overcome even the greatest challenges. If this tale moved you, share it with someone who believes in the power of perseverance and connection. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more inspiring stories on Thunder Hoofbeats. Together, let's celebrate the bonds that make us stronger.